What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now, today I've got for you just one story, but it's a very controversial one, and I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to think about the following. Unfortunately for this man and his family, they were uninvited from a group of friends, families, sort of holiday vacation because their son is autistic. As you'll see when we get into this one and the update, which of course follows, there's a lot to discuss here, and it is quite a nuanced conversation, I think. So as I said, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. But without further ado, let's get into the original post. This is a good one. My family was uninvited from a trip because my son, who is 14, is autistic. This was originally posted on May the 31st, 2015. 5 years ago, my childhood best friend, I am a 44-year-old man, invited me, my wife, who is 41, and our son on a week-long trip to California with his family and 3 of his college and work friends, a group of guys from 42 to 45, and their families. I'd met them before and we all got on well enough, so I agreed to it. Now, they knew that my son was autistic before they invited us, and were fine with it, apparently. The first year we went, my son had a really hard time adjusting, but got better as time went on. Although he did have a few meltdowns, but everyone acted like it was fine and that they understood, and they continued to invite us on the trip in the next few years. And things usually just went like that. But earlier this week, my friends said that they wanted to discuss the trip, and I too wanted to discuss the trip because of some concerns I had. Mainly one of my friend's teenage daughters, who was extremely rude to my son. So I agreed. But when I got there, things were really awkward. No one really said anything. And finally, one of the guys just said that they and their families had decided that it would probably be best if we, my family, didn't go on the trip this year. I was completely blindsided. I of course asked why, and none of them would come right out and say directly, but they slyly said it was because of my son. They said that this year, since it was vacation, they wanted to be able to truly relax, and for the past few years, they haven't been able to. They also said that this year they really wanted some adult time since they haven't had any the last few years. Whenever my wife and I went out, our son would have to come too because nobody would stay with him. And quite frankly, I didn't trust any of the other kids to stay with him, and he had a meltdown once at a restaurant. Their final reason was that some of their kids were uncomfortable. We rent a big house out there and felt unsafe staying in the house because of one instance where my son did get a little out of hand, one time out of the 4 years, so I did understand that part a bit. Like I said, they never came right out and said it was because of my son, but I knew it was, and that really hurt. This trip is the only time my wife and I ever get away, and they knew that. I think it's pretty sad that a group of adults can't see past a few inconveniences and annoyances from a child who can't help it for a few days, but I know it's a little different to me because I deal with it all of the time. Overall, I'm just angry, hurt, and confused, as is my wife, by all of this. They're supposed to be my friends, and I thought they understood everything. I feel like I'm ready to cut ties with all of them and not look back, but my wife thinks that I should tell them all how I truly feel about the situation so they won't just think it's okay to do that to anyone. I don't really know what I'm asking, whether I'm overreacting, I truly don't think I am, or whether I should just end the friendship now or talk to them first. Okay, so there we go. That is it for the original post. Wow. I mean, this is a tough one, isn't it? It's a really tough spot. Before I give my thoughts, let's jump into the top comment that was left on the original post. That is the comment with the most upvotes. Somebody said, "You have every right to feel hurt because we can't control the hands we're dealt. However, I'm inclined to say that your friends do have a valid point. An autistic child is a lot to deal with, and not everyone is able to do it. Your point of view is people should accept him because he can't help it, because he's your child and you're used to it. Imagine it from the other point of view. They see it as a child who can randomly go off at any moment, whether he can help it or not. It doesn't matter if it's caused by a disease or just a hyperactive child. They see the potential meltdowns as uncomfortable and awkward. Pretend it wasn't your child. Pretend one of your friend's children has ADHD. His family wants to go on vacation because they're used to it and have learned to tune down his yelling. Would you want to go out with him constantly yelling and making people uncomfortable? Now, I'm not sure about that as an assessment of ADHD, but let's carry on. Some young children with ADHD definitely do behave like that. Anyway, could your friends have been more straightforward in their approach? Yes. At the end of the day, they did a cost-benefit analysis and figured it was better to have peace of mind for their kids and them, and they decided to cut you. I recommend planning a vacation with your son. There's no reason why you can't have a great time as a family somewhere. Okay, so there we go for the original post, and you see now why I say in the intro that this is a tough one, because I want to remain respectful with everything I'm saying and I'm about to say, but I do agree with this top comment. And that doesn't take away from how tough it is. I mean, I have no idea, but just I can't even begin to imagine how tough it is to be a parent to an autistic child. But I do feel like you can just go on a holiday or a vacation with your own family and that be all right. Now, look, obviously you have enjoyed going away with these guys before and you'd love to keep doing it. And I imagine from your point of view and your perspective, you're thinking that you're getting punished because your son has autism, and how is that fair? Like, you're the one that has to deal with him every day. They're just doing it for a few days on their vacation. Is that really that bad? No, I agree with that. But also, like, you have to think about it from their point of view. As this commenter said, it is their vacation too. And, you know, we don't get a lot of vacation time in this life, at least the majority of us don't. So if they're not happy with how it's going and their children aren't feeling comfortable on their vacation and they don't feel free to do what they want to do, then ultimately they don't owe you guys, you know, an invitation. You don't have to go with them. Like, they're not forced to invite you. It's a shame, but I feel like they've tried for what, 4-5 years now, and they've thought, sorry, we can't keep doing this anymore, which is tough. But can you really blame them for that? Let's be honest, objectively, it seems to me like their vacation will be less sort of incident-full, I suppose, or, you know, just in general a little bit easier if you're not there. We're talking objectively here. So who am I to say you have to include this family just to be nice when actually it's taking away from your vacation? Even if it's taking away from it, you know, like 1 to 2%, it's your vacation. Like, you work all year to be able to do something like this, and you know, I can't blame them, as I said. Anyway, there is an update to this one, which was posted a week after the original, and I'm very interested, as I said, to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So let me know what you're thinking before we get into this update. But here we go. This is the update, and this is the conclusion. After thinking hard about it, I decided that I would talk to my friends about everything that happened. We decided to meet again and talk it out. They said that they understood why I was hurt, but they weren't even planning on budging in any way. There was no hesitation this time, and one of them, the one with the rude daughter, told me straight out that being around my son was way too stressful and risky, and that this year they refused to constantly walk on eggshells and put their kids at risk for my family's sake. Look, we were never the closest, but I still thought we were friendly enough acquaintances to be respectful to one another, but I guess not. And in the moment, we did get into a bit of a heated argument and basically nothing got resolved. But my childhood friend did tell me that he doesn't want this to end our friendship and that maybe next year we could all work something out. But quite frankly, I don't really want to go on a trip with any of them, and I left. My wife, when I got home, was happy that I talked to them, but upset that I even considered trying to come up with a solution to go on a trip where we wouldn't even be wanted, which I understand. As far as my friendship with those guys, I'm not sure where it stands, and if we don't talk in the future, it won't bother me too much since they feel the way they do. I know that a lot of people disagree with me, but if you can't accept my child, then you can't accept me, especially when he's so dependent on me. I am a little disappointed because I thought we were all friends, but maybe it's for the best. Oh, yeah, reading that is very, very tough. Because on the one hand, as I've already said, like, you have to think about your friends here, or I suppose maybe ex-friends, and what they deserve from a vacation, but it doesn't half like feel terrible when you've got OP being here like, look, my son is my son, he is who he is. If you can't accept him for that, then we can't be friends because he needs me so much and relies on me and he is my life. Yeah, it's tough. I feel like maybe just the actual resolution here is to not go on a vacation, a group vacation with other people. Maybe just see them more often in the year, but not during an event which requires a lot of planning and time and You know, people put a lot of effort into vacations and a lot of money as well, and it is with the whole family. Maybe a vacation is not the best bet, you know, for this group of friends. But I also feel for your childhood friend, because he's just like, look, I love you, but it's too tough. We can't do it. We've decided we can't do it. Anyway, let's jump into the comments before I give my final thoughts. Somebody said, everyone in your last post said this is how they probably felt and have a right to feel, almost to the letter. They feel like they have to walk on eggshells. Do you think they should be made to feel like that on their vacation? You feel like they're rejecting your family and you have a right to feel that way, but it seems like you still haven't looked at the other side of the coin. And finally, somebody says, your friends don't owe you a vacation. You're demonizing them as if they don't like you or your kid, and you feel that they should accept your son without reservations because his misbehavior is part of his disability. Vacations are not supposed to be stressful. Your son adds stress to their vacation. They're in no way obligated to deal with that. You are, because he is your kid. And guess what? They tried for 4 years to accept the situation and see it from your end. What have you tried? Goodness me, a scathing comment there, but maybe it's based in reality. Like, I'm not sure I'd personally want to go to the lengths of that comment. It does seem a little bit harsh. But again, like, I mean, is any of it necessarily wrong? I kind of concur with the final point. What have you tried? Because they have sacrificed quite a lot, I think. And this sounds terrible saying it, because obviously you've sacrificed like your life to have this kid, but he is your kid, and you do sort of sign up for that when you have a child. What have you tried is a good question. I mean, maybe you could do more stuff on your own when you're on the vacation, or let the other adults do stuff. Again, like, even saying that, it's not what you want to do, is it? I think I'm actually happy with what I said earlier, that you guys should continue being friends, but just think to yourself that a group vacation like this just isn't the way forward, because it just can't work. And just be content with that. I think it's a shame once again, but that's all I can say on that. Now, somebody else in the comments down below picked out OP saying this, that some of their kids felt unsafe staying in the house because of one instance where my son did get a little out of hand, which was one time out of the 4 years. So I did understand that part a bit. And they said, you've been a little bit scant on the details there, OP. The other kids feel unsafe. Of course, their kids want to protect them, the same as OP wants to protect his son. And I think that is the main point. Like, you know, it's very tough. It's a very, very tough spot once again. But ultimately, if people are feeling unsafe because of your son, then again, you can't blame them for saying, we don't want your son there. And it's horrible, but I think it's just fair. It's just not meant to be. Simple as that. I think everyone should just say, look, this is sad that we can't do this, but it's for the benefit of everyone to not do this. Let's just do other things instead. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. As I said right at the top, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. I don't know. Part of me is like, I feel so sort of sympathetic for OP and his family. But the other part of me is like thinking, if I was a member of one of the other families and I tried my best and I was just kind of just sick of going on vacation, my kids feeling uncomfortable, who knows what happened in that one instant, but you know, something clearly did. And then me feeling like I can't even spend any time with my friends because your kid's always there, etc, etc. Like, on the one hand, I'd love to say, of course, I'll always invite you and your family there. You mean so much to me, and I understand that your kid is autistic, but we can deal with that together. On the other, I've had a stressful year at work. I want a vacation where I can just chill out and not have to think about my kids being uncomfortable or unsafe. You know, it's up in the air. I think it just depends on how kind you are as a person, to be honest. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Very interesting one, and I'll catch you on the next.